Is this silly joke worth me, F30, breaking up with my boyfriend? Edit to clarify, the title is misleading. The joke itself is not what it's really about, but his reaction afterwards. I've been dating my boyfriend for a year and we've had lots of fun, adventure, and love. We have an intense connection/chemistry, but can sometimes become intense in a negative way. We've also had a number of petty fights and arguments during this year. For what it's worth, we also don't fully agree politically/on our worldviews. I'll touch on this in a minor detail in this story. My boyfriend was cleaning the bathroom and I walked in to grab my hairbrush. As I went to grab the brush, he decided to splash me in the face with the running water. I immediately said, "Don't do that, because I don't like water in my face/I don't like jokes in my face," and I've told him this before. We've had 2 other petty fights pertaining to jokes in my face, but he forgot. For the record, I'm quite a silly person and love to joke around but don't like jokes in my face. He immediately retaliated and started yelling at me, asking why the fuck I was reacting like that, saying I was being over the top, that I can't take a joke, and going as far to say that I'm like woke people you see on social media who flip out and make a big deal about everything. He's right-leaning and I'm left-leaning, BTW. I tried to justify why I reacted like that, but it wound up becoming a very tense moment, so I left and went to a nearby cafe to finish work for the day. He then sent me this text message. "I don't want to be in a relationship where everything is restricted and not allowed. Please, a drop of water in the face, everyone is doing that. I could even do it to my dad. It's not violent or disrespectful, it's just a fucking dumb joke and not worth creating drama over. I'm sorry that we are facing situations like that, but I can't be sorry for this because it's ridiculous." In further convos he was adamant he wouldn't apologize. I feel so angry and sad, not about the water but because I feel like my feelings are not valid to him. He also said if I hadn't flipped out from the start he would have reacted calmly and would have apologized in the moment. I don't think that's true. Anyway, do you think this is grounds to break up with him? Am I being over the top? Comment. My mother is deeply afraid of water in her face. Married my father. One day she was taking a bath, my dad came in and jokingly splashed a little bit of water in her face. Never again. He saw really how afraid my mother was and deeply apologized. I have something similar but much less. I can put my head pee in water. I just hate cold water with passion. Cold for me, I need to burn in water to be happy. My ex came in when I was taking a shower, and he freaking changed the hot water with cold water. I was up to kill him. People have to respect boundaries. Add, X is X for other reasons, not because I murdered him. I am also deeply afraid of water splashing in my face. A common punishment from my mom when I cried too much when I was little was to stick me in a cold shower with the water hitting my face. I still struggle to put my face in the water when I shower. Yes, I'd break up over this, because it's shitty and rude. If it's only a joke then he can say holy shit I am so sorry, it was meant as a joke but clearly I hit a nerve. Defending a simple joke out of principle is not worth your hurt feelings. Here's some other things worth considering. Everything is restricted and not allowed, that's childish and catastrophic thinking. Well, I guess I'm never ever going to do X ever again. I'll just hold my breath until I turn blue. Grow up. Drop of water in the face, minimizing to make you feel foolish and small and to blame. Everyone is doing that/I could do it to my dad, irrelevant. Everyone is doing it. Is not how things work. Everyone is walking off a cliff, encourage him to do that. It's just a dumb fucking joke/not worth creating drama over. If that's so, he should have no problem apologizing and fucking not doing it again. If it truly doesn't matter, yet it does matter, it's control. He knows you don't like water in your face equals he does it anyway equals he's in the upper position. Whatever, I could go on. Break up with this manipulative child. Date a man who doesn't treat you poorly, bait you, take pleasure in your discomfort, and then blame you when you ask him to stop. It's not breaking up over a joke, it's breaking up over his refusal to accept that you have boundaries. Everyone has stuff they don't like and that bothers them more than others. I hate it when anyone touches my stomach or belly button, and my husband knows this, so even if he thinks it's weird that I'm sensitive about it, he knows when we're walking past each other in the house and do a boob poke. It's a common thing in my house, a small bit for attention. He shouldn't poke my belly. He doesn't care if I poke his. I don't care if he boops me on the nose or the head or pretty much anywhere as long as it's not my stomach. You don't have get someone's boundaries or think they are illogical to respect them. If someone doesn't like stuff in their face, even if you think it's funny, you just respect that. No big deal. He's being a complete Had an hour-long fight with a former GF because I refused to be tickled. I hate it, and made it very clear to her. She did it anyway, while we were on holiday, and I absolutely demanded she never try to tickle me, ever again. Cue the argument. Was a miserable afternoon, in paradise. A lot of women don't like their hair and face messed with. It's not an unusual boundary even in a relationship that is generally full of goofing around. And Up has already explained she doesn't like stuff in her face to her BF several times. Even so, Op's reaction was mild irritation and a don't do that, which is not an overreaction, especially given she's already established that he shouldn't be doing stuff like that. But her BF loses his ever-loving shit anyway. He's a man-child. Next story 2. My sister and parents abandoned me at a concert with no phone, wallet, or shoes. My family abandoned me at a concert with no phone, wallet, or shoes. I was recently left at a concert by my family. For some background, I went to this concert with Mia, Zach, and Kyle. This concert was 4 days and we had only planned on going for the first 3. The first 2 days of the concert went well and we had fun, but the third day was way worse. The day started off normal. I was only planning to have a few drinks and that's it. Well, at some point I believe someone slipped something in my drink. I only had 4 drinks when my memory goes away. I then woke up in an ambulance 5 to 6 hours later, 12:30 a.m., with no phone, wallet, or shoes. A cop had found me a mile away from the venue and called an ambulance for me. The cop called my parents who were 2 hours away at home and updated them on what was going on. They said that they would pick me up the next day. When I had gotten to the hospital they said they had people who needed more help and then discharged me. They asked if I had a way home or if someone could pick me up. They also called my phone and it was in the lost and found at the venue. Well, I didn't know my sister's number, so the hospital staff called me an Uber to bring me back to the venue so I could get to Mia. Well, she was gone when I got there, so I asked a woman that was still there to call her on Facebook. I know I wish I thought of it at the hospital. Well, when she picked up I told her where I was and all she said was that she was an hour away and wasn't turning around. Now at this point I'm scared and don't know what to do. I went to the security office at the venue and tried to see if they could help. They went and checked lost and found, but it was closed and wouldn't open until 11:30. They gave me a few bucks to get something to eat and then drove me to the camping area the venue had to try and see if someone would let me stay with them. I then found a man that helped me out a lot. I had him text my family to not worry about getting me and then had him text my boss on FB to come get me. I then told him my story while bawling my eyes out and he gave me a hug and helped me get to sleep. The next day I had to wait for Lost and Found to open to get my stuff. Luckily they also had my wallet. I then called Mia and the rest of my family to let them know I was okay and my boss was on his way. When I talked to them they acted like the whole situation was my fault and that I wasn't being a responsible older brother. When I finally got back to my parents' house they were not there. I did not get an apology from Mia or anyone else. Then Kyle said that they were a half hour away when I called and he tried to make my sister turn around but she wouldn't. Everyone I have told this to has said how disgusted with my family they are and that I should go no contact with them, even close family friends. There has been other stuff that had already made me go low contact with my parents. Should I go no contact my whole family? For context, my boss ended up driving 4 hours from where I live to get to me and then 2 hours to my parents' house to where my car was, then 3 more hours back home. The hospital did not do a drug screening because I hadn't thought about the fact I only had 4 drinks and was still kinda out of it. Comment. The sad news for you is now you know you can't rely on your parents or siblings in your time of need. You were in a dangerous situation, and they wouldn't help you in any way. If my sibling or kid was drugged and ended up in the hospital, I'd be on my way to them no matter what. Do not count on them being there to help you in the future. I would start building a support group of close friends or distant relatives. Start making plans to move out and only allow people that love and care for you in your life. I am actually working on this with my very little kids now so that they actually ask me for help in an emergency when they are older, including adults. Even if he had chosen to get smashed or do drugs, they still need to be there for him. The only thing I can think of is if he has a substance abuse problem and they are sick of dealing with it and enabling. But that is not the vibe I get here. Heck, my stepmom wouldn't have been stopped from coming to get me in that situation. My stepbrother would come get me in a heartbeat too. We played a prank on him once about coming to get us at 5 a.m. because we were too drunk to drive and we're 2 hours away, and he almost got in his car to get us until he found out we were home safe in bed. My sister has driven an hour each way to get me, and I've done the same for her in much less sketchy situations. Don't know this kid from Adam, and I'd have loaded up my kids and gone on an adventure to go get him if I'd known. IDC, if there's more to the story, you don't leave a young person alone, vulnerable, and without options. Literally, I took my brother to MIA festival in Philly. He got blacked out drunk and removed from the festival while I was hanging out with some family friends. I didn't know this because at the time he had only told me he wanted to go to the rail and I'm too short for that, so I stayed back. I fucking lost this kid for over 6 hours. I searched everywhere. And because it was a weekend-long event, the cops were out on almost every block for like a mile or two radius, and I just kept asking them if they had seen him. Long story short, I did everything I could to find him before going to get some sleep. And then woke up super early, maybe 4 hours of sleep, to go back out there and find him. Which I did. Go LC with them. Next time if they try to bring you to an event, tell them no. If they throw a tantrum for not spending time with you anymore, remind them that they are unreliable and that you could have been raped or even worse that night. They didn't help you, so you won't be doing anything with them that involves alcohol, a big crowd, and depending on them. If they still don't get it, go NC. They are not worth it. You could have died and they didn't care. If you want, you can still talk to them a bit. I wouldn't, but that's totally up to you. But you can never trust them again, and you can never expect them to be on your side. They're like crappy acquaintances, not someone who loves you. Will hanging out with that make you feel better or worse? That's got to be your decision. Can you mentally distance yourself like an emotional ninja, setting healthy boundaries everywhere, or will you always get sucked in because you can't help caring about them no matter how awful they are? Will knowing how much they suck eat you up, or can you actually not care about the fact that they don't really care about you? No matter what you decide with that, you have to remember that you can never trust them, and they will probably try to use you, so you have to watch out for that. You did not win the family lottery, and I'm sorry about that. Good luck, man.